everyone, it's Stephanie Baring, the new Miss Central California 2017. It's so exciting to even say that because I cannot believe that I'm going to the Miss California stage in just 3 months, which is the step before Miss America. Letting that sink in for a moment. So I'm really excited to begin this journey, and I was just crowned less than a week ago, so I'm trying to get the ball rolling, and I decided that my first video is going to be a little Q&A. So I typed up some questions that I get asked pretty often, and some questions that I just thought would be really fun to throw in there. So I'll start off with a little bit about myself. I'm about to graduate from the University of Alabama, Roll Tide, and I graduate in just 6 weeks. So 4 years goes by really quickly. So for all you outstanding teens out there, it goes by in a blink of an eye. And I want you to take in every opportunity that you have, because before you know it, you're gonna be in my shoes graduating and on to the next step in your life. So I'm a communication science major, and I minored in political science, and I'm from Danville, California, and I'm 22 years old. So I don't have these questions memorized, so I'm going to be reading off of them a little bit, so just a heads up. So why did I go to the University of Alabama? I went to the University of Alabama because my best friend from high school actually came and visited, and she was like, "You're gonna love it, I want you to come visit." So I did, and it was a dreary day, kind of like it is outside right now. It's raining and lightning, southern weather. But it was just rainy and gross, and there was just something that clicked, and it felt so right and so good. So I remember looking at my mom and filling out my paperwork and signing right then and there when I was on campus for a tour. So I've loved it ever since, and it's been the best 4 years of my life. Why do I have bangs? This is one I get asked all the time. So my mom actually has bangs as well, and so does my Nana, so I'm like a third generation bang wearer, I guess. So I've just had them since I was a little girl. My mom always said that I looked like a boy when I was younger, so I've always had them. And I've always had like some variation of them. There's been like the curtain style, there's been like the full bang, there's been like just one side, there's been long fringe, short fringe, but I've always had them, and I consider them a part of my personality. Who is my favorite Disney princess and why? I love Cinderella. My mom was actually Alice in Wonderland at Disneyland when she was in college, and so naturally I grew up loving Disney princesses. And I actually started working for a Disney princess company called the Cinderella Company last summer, and it's been an amazing experience, and I'm so excited to go back home in just a few weeks and start it again. And so I get to be Cinderella, I've been Anna from Frozen, but I have to say that Cinderella is probably my favorite just because she's so classic and so elegant. But I also really love Anna from Frozen. I just think she's so dorky and adorable and loving. Chocolate or vanilla? Definitely chocolate. Anybody that knows me knows that I cannot go a single day without wearing chocolate. One time for a preliminary competition, I actually ate Oreos before I went on stage for swimsuit, and I had Oreo in the corner of my mouth, so in all the photos you see this little chocolate piece in the corner, and I didn't know it at the time, but it's really funny to look back on the photos. Heels or flats? Definitely heels. I love wearing heels. I love the feeling of wearing heels. I feel powerful. I feel strong. I love the way that they feel on me. Though I will say tippy tops by Chinese Laundry are not my cup of tea, and I cannot walk in them. So if you can walk in them, props to you. I look like a giraffe. A brand new, just born baby giraffe in those things. Favorite food? Probably pasta or chocolate chip cookies fresh out the oven. It's a tough call. Both of them are really good. My favorite holiday is Christmas. I was born on December 19th, so I love the feeling of the holidays, and even though when I was younger and I could never really have a birthday party because everybody was always doing things with their family and friends, it's been really fun growing up and being able to celebrate my birthday with so many people around me because it's easier to get everybody together. And my favorite movie, which is also on here, is It's a Wonderful Life. And it's just one of those feel-good movies that no matter what time of the year that you watch it, no matter what time of day you watch it, you cry, and it feels really good. And it's one of the only movies my dad has ever cried in. My dad's pretty stoic, for anybody that knows my dad. He's pretty stoic, and so when I see him cry with that movie, it just goes to show just how intense and just how powerful the emotion in that movie really is. Early bird or night owl? That's a tough one. I'm usually not quite a morning person unless I'm going to Disney or doing something close to being related to Disney, unfortunately. But I'm also kind of a grandma, and I go to bed at like 10 o'clock at night most of the time. Best advice for someone competing. I would say to listen to other people's opinions and to listen to other people's advice going into a competition, but don't let it detract from what you want to do. For example, if somebody tells you that you should wear a certain type of dress, but you would rather wear a different dress, don't let it detract from what you want to do. And if you feel comfortable and you love this dress, wear it. Because if you don't feel happy and comfortable on stage, it's going to show. And it's not going to allow you to perform your very best. So the best advice I can give is to listen to others, but also to listen to your heart as well. So 1,000 Camels story. This was actually on my fun facts page for the last few competitions that I did at Miss Contra Costa and also Miss North Bay and Bay Area. So a couple years ago, actually, oh gosh, 8 years ago now, my dad and I went to South Africa for a wheelchair distribution, and we stopped in Morocco to get gas for the plane. So we were going to this little restaurant, and it was off this corner, and it was dusty, it was sandy, it was in the middle of it seeming like nowhere. I was about 14 years old, and we walked down this long alleyway. Well, there's this little man wearing a fez hat in the traditional Moroccan garb, and he was probably 5 foot, and he looks at me and he says, "How much?" And I looked at my dad with utter confusion, and I was like, what do you mean, how much? And the man looks at my dad, looks back at me and says, "How much for your daughter? I will buy her for 1,000 camels and sell her to all the merchants across Morocco." So I was mortified in that moment because that doesn't exactly sound good, and my dad thought it was hilarious. And so he kept going with it, and he was like, "Unfortunately, like, I can only sell her for 100,000 camels, sir." And he was like, "Oh no, I do not have 100,000 camels, I only have 1,000. So my dad made me get a photo with the man who was dead serious about buying me for 1,000 camels. My dad still jokes to this day and was like, "I don't even know where we would have put 1,000 camels, Stephanie. And I wouldn't even have sold you for 100,000 camels." So it's just like a really funny inside joke between my dad and I, but it's a pretty funny little story. Fun facts is that I collect socks. And I love all my socks, but I have a few favorites that I'm gonna share with you. I love traveling, so these are my world map socks. One of my best friends competed for Miss Rhode Island, or went to Miss America as Miss Rhode Island 2 years ago, and her talent was Poor Unfortunate Souls by Ursula from The Little Mermaid. So I naturally had to get some octopus socks to wear when she competed for Miss America. So these are my Ali Curtis socks. The peanut butter and jelly socks. Frog socks. My Alaskan moose socks that my dad and brother brought back from an Alaska trip. Flamingos. Llamas. Giraffes. They're one of my favorite animals. More llamas. Sea turtle socks. And of course, you know, being a title holder, you can't not have crown socks. So that's another collection that I have. I actually have 3 drawers of socks, and my friends and family make fun of me all the time because I can never just have white socks. They have to be bright, they have to be colorful, and half the time they don't match. Let's see. Why did I decide to compete in MAO? So I competed in a few other systems in the past. I was Miss California International 2015, so I was in the Miss International system, and I did National American Miss for a few years. So I didn't start doing the Miss America organization until I was a freshman in college, and I did Miss Alabama for the Miss America organization. And it was a great experience. I absolutely loved it. But I also realized that I wasn't as mature as I wanted to be to compete in this program and to fully give it my all. So I held back for a few years, did Miss California International, got some more platform experience, and then I came back for the Miss America organization just last year, and it's been an amazing, amazing experience. And I love all the girls that I competed with. They are some of the most wonderful, powerful, strong, optimistic women, and they're gonna be my future bridesmaids one day, without a doubt in my mind. What is the Wheelchair Foundation? So, the Wheelchair Foundation is my personal platform, and it's actually my family's nonprofit organization. So I'm gonna do an entire vlog dedicated to all types of questions dedicated to the Wheelchair Foundation. But in a short summary, it was founded in June of 2000 by my grandfather, Ken Baring, and he decided to create this after he went to Romania in 1999. And he realized that there was such a need for wheelchairs across the world, and it was something that was ignored. And when he gave a wheelchair to an elderly man in Romania, he saw just how quickly it changed their life. And so when he came back, he decided that he needed to do something and make himself bigger, or not make himself, sorry, make something bigger than himself. Word vomit. Make something bigger than himself. So he came back, created the Wheelchair Foundation, and since its founding, it has delivered over 1 million wheelchairs in over 156 different countries. So it's really exciting to be a part of that and to be able to say that it's part of my family and it's something that I grew up with. So I don't want to get too into the Wheelchair Foundation just because I want to be sure that I can dedicate an entire, I could probably talk for hours on the Wheelchair Foundation, but I want to make sure to have enough for the next video. Do I have any social media pages to follow? Yes, I do. I have my personal Instagram, which is Stephanie_with_bangs. And then I also have my Miss Central California page, so it's at Miss Central CA on Instagram. I also have the Miss Central California 2017 Facebook page, and then my other Facebook page, that's my personal one, is Stephanie Ann Baring, A-N-N. My mom's middle name has the E on it, but mine just has A-N-N. And then I also have a blog that I'm trying to use a whole lot more. I used to write a lot, and then I didn't have as much time as I wanted to dedicate to writing on my blog. But I've actually written a lot recently, so my blog is actually called That Girl with Bangs. So if you search it on Google, it's a WordPress website, and it's just That Girl with Bangs. So it's kind of my little, it's what I'm known for, I guess, is my bangs. So you can see a common theme there. 3 things that make me really happy are peony flowers, kind people, and those feel-good stories. Usually I can find those on Ellen and EllenTube on Facebook. If anybody's friends with me on Facebook, I've probably posted a ton of my happy videos from the Ellen channel. And then 3 habits that I have are that I use way too many towels when I try to get ready. And it's usually an accident. I don't mean to use 3 different towels, but I'll like use one on my hair and then I'll dry off with one and then I'll like accidentally put my hands on another person's towel and my family and friends get so frustrated with me about it. And lastly, I pack like I'm going to Europe for 2 months. No matter where I'm going, I have an outfit for just about any sort of emergency. When it's hot, when it's windy, when it's raining, if it's snowing, if it, you know, I have sandals, I've got 10 different pairs of shoes that I need to bring, and I always overpack. And no matter how hard I try, I still have way too much. So my dad's rule of thumb when I was younger is that I can only take what I can carry. So unfortunately I found out a few loopholes about that, and I've like stacked my luggage on top of each other so that I'm still technically only bringing what I can carry, but it's still way too much. Thank you all so much for checking in on my channel and for watching this video, and I will be posting a lot more leading up to Miss California and following Miss California. So keep following, subscribe to my channel if you like this and if you want to learn more, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!